morning. It's the beginning of March and it's time to do a video. It's been a while since I got home from my trip from South Carolina up here to my home in Connecticut. I want to do a video reviewing the electronics that I took with me. But first, before I start my review, I'm here on my stationary bike and it's time for a workout. I've got 55 minutes to go. So let's do this and get to the review. It's always good to have motivation when you're here on the bike. I found that YouTube cycling videos do the trick. Well, I'm almost done with my ride. It's about 59 minutes. I've got one more minute to go. And before I get off the bike here and go on to the electronics portion of the video, I want to just show you the app that I use on my Garmin 1030. It's called My Edge 2, and you can get it at the Garmin Connect store. So here it is. You can see the very top row gives you the temperature. I have it set to Fahrenheit, time of day, time of sunset, and compass heading. You can see an arrow. I'm heading north here in my basement. Then it has a traditional speedometer needle. To the left of the center of the needle, it has your average speed. And to the right of the needle, it has your top speed. So below the pointer of the speedometer, you can see the present speed in miles per hour, or you can change it to kilometers. The elapsed time of your ride under that, and the total mileage traveled. Now under that, power, the cadence, calories, percent grade of the road. So there's a lot of information there. So now I'd like to spend a few moments and show you the electronics I took on my bicycle tour. I have everything I need and it's comfortable for me to ride. So first I have my iPhone 10, which I use for navigation. I use an app called Bicycle Route Navigator. So the app has all of the maps that I used for my trip from Key West all the way up to Connecticut. And let's just open one up here. And here is a map. It's kind of hard to see, but it gives you all the points of interest. Locations of gas stations, motels, campgrounds. You can see there's some green icons that show you where campgrounds are. The yellow right there shows you where libraries are, and as you get even closer you can drill down to see here's a motel, and it's quite a nice app. And of course it follows the adventure cycling line until you get to the end of the map. In this case, on this map, it took me all the way through up into where my Airbnb was for the evening. And then the next morning I crossed the Hudson River and headed into Connecticut. So I would say this is my favorite app and it never got me lost. The Adventure Cycling Organization also has paper maps, but I found that this app to be most useful. I mount my phone right here. So if you're like me, you have an iPhone that's not brand new and your battery's not going to last that long. So how do I address that problem? Well, I have cable right here and it goes right into my Toe Peak gas tank bag. And in the bag, I have an Anchor battery. And this thing will keep my iPhone charged all day. After about 6 hours, I've only used about 50% of it. If I didn't have my iPhone plugged into it, my iPhone would go dead in about 3 hours. Then at night, I can use this to charge up my lights and my camera batteries. So as far as my bicycle computer goes, I use a Garmin 1030. Here it is mounted on my Jamis. It's sandwiched in between my headlight and my camera and my phone. It's very easy for me to see in my sitting position. The headlight that I use is a CygoLite Dash. I keep it on the pulse mode during the day and it will last me about 11 hours. before it needs to be charged up again. And as far as my blinky light in the back, I use a CygoLite Model 700, and it works out just fine. It'll last me all day, and it recharges in about an hour. As far as my action camera, I use to get those shots going down the road, and basically having it hands-free. I keep it mounted on my handlebars. The action camera is a Sony, I believe it's a Model 300, and it uses the same batteries as my point-and-shoot camera. Its image stabilization is excellent, and it is water resistant. I do have a lens cover over the front of it to keep any driving rain out. So to keep everything mounted and off my handlebars, because I wouldn't have enough room, I purchased this little carbon fiber extender on Amazon. I will put a link to this in the video description below. So at the end of the day, whether I'm in a hotel or a campground, I need to charge up all my batteries. And how do I do that? I have two methods. Right here I have a 2-battery bank charging station that I can plug into my external battery at night. And if I'm in a motel, I can not only do that, but I can also plug this into a 110 volt wall socket so that I can actually charge 3 batteries at once. So I can get all my charging done in a matter of a couple of hours. So as far as a point and shoot camera, I take 2 of them with me. Why do I do that? Well, I take my older Sony HX99. It has a telephoto lens on it that goes up to 800 millimeters, so I can get some shots off in the distance. In fact, I used this camera for the first part of my tour from Key West up to South Carolina. So it has a monitor on it that flips up, and like I said, it can go up to 800 millimeters for some nice shots. Here's the back side. So the main point and shoot camera that I take is a Sony ZV-1. It has a lot of good automatic features that make it foolproof. And here it is. It looks very much like the other camera. They both take the same batteries, which comes in handy because everything's interchangeable. And one thing I really appreciate on this camera is the optional tripod that actually has Bluetooth electronics in it that sync up to the camera. While I'm riding my bike, I can turn it on or off with this little button. If I just want a photo, I hit that button. And down on the bottom here is a really cool little feature where I can defocus the background and really change the depth of field. So that's it for my electronics. My next video, trip planning and just how I do it, some suggestions that may come in handy for you.
This love has never been stronger. I'm up in the clouds when you're around, but when you're not, it's getting much harder, and I'm falling down, down, I'm falling down. I see your face on